Alright guys, maybe get your microphone set up really quick. We're doing a little bit different pace today. On my grandpa's Kawasaki 1971 G3SS, and hopefully I just didn't move the camera on you guys. Hopefully you can see okay. I am trying a completely different camera angle, and my camera is hanging down like a giant goatee right about now, so I can't move my head very much. Otherwise I either make the camera hit my chest or my arms, so a little bit challenging. I got the recommendation off of somebody on YouTube who's a motorcycle vlogger, and he said that was the best angle for doing this. You get a lower perspective for the viewers. And yeah, we're going 30 miles an hour. The reason I'm doing that is a couple things. The rear gear, the rear spur gear, not spur, sorry, sprocket, is I can't remember how many teeth it is, but it's not right for this bike. It's meant for the trail version of the 90, so it's lower, and makes it really great for chugging up hills and stuff like that. Does great, but this bike is meant to go around 45, 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. When I was a kid, I had this thing up to 70. I was going downhill for sure. But it's with my adult-sized body, my extra-large adult-sized body, we go slower. I am looking at another rear sprocket with the appropriate number of teeth on the back. To switch this one, I think this one is actually 42 teeth, and the factory one was 37. So I think, don't quote me on that. Anyways, I'm just chilling. 30's good. Maybe somebody gets a little irked at me going that slow, but it's a small bike. I'll just hug to the right and they can pass me. You can see the bike does okay going up the hill. I mean, it's only got 10 horsepower. Yeah, that's it. Those rings are seeing some pressures now, huh? The new engine's got about close to 500, actually a little over 500 miles on it. Sorry, no, that's not right. 300. So, but I've just kept riding it at this pace. I do not want to have to rebuild it again. Man, you think Buell parts are expensive? Try rebuilding a bike like this, vintage, Japanese. It's luckily there's some. It's actually a pretty popular platform. The engine itself is over in like Southeast Asia. So there's still a kind of a stockpile of parts over there. I don't know why it was so popular in that area of the world. Well, actually, I can see the appeal, honestly. Small, lightweight bike. You're doing top speeds of 30, 40 miles an hour through town. The thing gets like an insanely high MPG. When I was a kid, I rode this back and forth to school, and I filled up maybe once every 2 weeks, something like that. So not very often. Sorry, I just bumped you into my arm. I hope that the view is good for you guys. I definitely don't like it. It's not comfortable to ride like this. Really not being able to move my head. But it's not like I wear this all the time, so. Yeah, that's top gear. It's pulling up the hill okay, you know. I mean, obviously it bogged down over there, but this long, steady gradient seems to be doing okay. Anyways, so I rode this back and forth to school as a teenager until I got my first car. Actually, let me back up. I went from this to a 750 Kawasaki. Not a sports bike. I don't like talking about that bike. I don't know. It was cheap. I had $250, something like that. It may have been cheaper than that. It had been sitting on this guy's back patio at the apartment complex we lived in as a kid. And I had saved up some money from work, making a minimum wage. And actually, no, I made $7 an hour, man. I was living large. This is back in the 90s. And anyone who knows, in the early 90s, mid 90s, $7 an hour was not too shabby for a teenager to be making that kind of money. Anyways, I had a tendency to blow my money, and could have saved up for a much better bike, a bike of my choosing. I really wanted an FZR 600, or the other bike I was looking at was the Ninja 250. I liked that one. And then obviously, any of the Ninjas 600 or anything like that, but they were a bit out of my price range. But the FZR 600, Yamaha FZR 600, was kind of like this hybrid of older technology coupled with a very modern bike, and modern looking anyway. And it was a great bike, especially if you were getting into wanting to get into some kind of performance level of riding, spirited riding, let's call it that. And man, every time I saw one, I was just like, oh, And no, man, I rode around on that 750 for way too long. Spent money fixing that thing up. It was my daily. I was what you might consider a 1%er in high school. I did not have a car for a while, and so I rode the bike back and forth. We lived outside, about 20-30 minutes outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and I rode back and forth to work after school and on the weekends. And that 750, as much as I didn't like it, it did okay. It got me back and forth to school and everything like that. It was whatever. It did what it needed to do. So hopefully somebody doesn't come raging around this corner. This is a 55 mile an hour speed limit right here, and I usually just hug the white line. Typically no one gets mad at me for doing this. I think a lot of people think it's cool, and they understand it's an antique bike. So anyways, back to my early days of motorcycling. And so that 750, I got rid of it. I sold it to my younger brother who needed a bike. I think he kept it for all of a month, and he was done. Let me tell you, it was a Kawasaki KZ 750 LTD. It was a cruiser, and it was a particularly hideous Japanese cruiser. It had the biggest couch, like lazy boy style seat on it. I hated that thing, man. It was just not me. And so when you guys hear me talk about really not liking cruisers, I'm not into cruisers. I'm speaking from personal experience. I do not like those bikes. Yep, I gotta use my hand signals. I don't know if you guys can see me doing that, but there's no turn signals on this old bike. Anyways, so he sold it to a guy who subsequently, I think, blew it up. He overfilled it with oil and it was smoking really bad. I don't know if it ever recovered. And frankly, I you know, I was like, whatever, it's that guy's problem. I don't care. So it wasn't that it was an unreliable bike at all. It just, you know, it was not great. Anyways, back to riding it for way too long. You know, for any of you who are getting into bikes, who are getting into Buells or thinking about getting one, and you're kind of waffling on the matter, look, let me just say this from my experience. If you were to save, you know, $100 a month for a couple years, you could get a Buell like I got, a project, you know, kind of basket case that had a solid engine and suspension and stuff like that. Nothing major, not crashed or anything like that. I mean, mine was laid down, but you could absolutely get a project bike for, you know, not a lot of money and get something that you want, you know. I had my eyes on a Buell for almost 10 years. Actually, probably 10 years. And you know, bills got in the way and stuff like that, and I could have taken my own advice I just gave you now and you know, abstained from buying sodas, stuff like that. Probably lost a little weight in the process, but you know, just dropping the unnecessary stuff from my life for a short period of time, and could have ended up, you know, having a Buell maybe a little bit sooner. And same is true for when I was a teenager. If I had just saved my money, I could have had that FZR or whatever other bike. Honestly, I was making enough money to do that. I was just blowing it like crazy. Trying to tell that guy to go. He does not want to get behind me. I don't know if that's legal or not, but I did it. Anyways, so did you guys hear that power? Yeah. Anyways, this bike again is my grandpa's bike. I learned how to ride a shifter motorcycle. I was riding a mini bike all the way up until I learned how to ride this. I think it was like 11 or 12, maybe. Yeah, I needed to be tall enough for my feet to hit the ground on this bike. That was the rule. Once my feet were on the ground, it was on. And so Dad and my uncle helped me to learn how to ride this bike, and then that was it. And so all of us, I have 3 brothers and a sister, but all of us learned how to ride this motorcycle. This was our trainer bike, and so we rode it, all of us. And let me back up. So my grandpa, before he passed away, you know, he wasn't riding it at all. And so he said, why don't you boys take it? So Dad and my uncle figured out how to get it back to Tennessee. And yeah, it had been sitting in Grandpa's garage for a while, so here comes some cars. Anyways, it had been sitting in his garage for a while, so the carburetor was all gummed up, and plug was fouled. I mean, just, you know, it's what happens to 2-strokes. We got it running, and that was it. I rode it to school, and guys are probably like, what's that guy doing? He's crazy. Anyways, was that really a bike? Why did he even wave? So anyways, yeah, that's the story with this bike. And oh, let me back up. Okay, there's more to it. To kind of some of this is review, and I apologize for jumping all over the place. You know, all this is unscripted. So, and even if it was scripted, I don't know where I would hold the script. I would just be trying to memorize one. So, got the bike going, rode it to school, blah blah blah, and then after I got the 750, we parked it, and of course my younger brothers rode it around, and you know, kept the juices flowing, as it were, and it, you know, it lived that life for a while. It has been dropped a few times, as you know, both my cousins and my brothers and I, we all rode this bike. Everybody knows this bike in the family. It was Grandpa's bike. So we've all dropped it. So it's got some character marks, we'll call them, and it's not perfect, but it's awesome. Love this bike. So, all right. So fast forward to today. It needed some TLC. I'm gonna get out the road for this guy. And so I went to visit my dad in Tennessee, and said, hey, you know, the 90, it's what we call it, the 90, was just sitting there, wasn't really doing anything, and kind of wasting away. We rode it once in a while when we go visit him, so it was kind of in the same situation as it was with my grandpa. So my dad, now being a grandpa, decided that yes, let's kind of follow with that. So I said, you know, if I take it, I'll just be the curator. It's a family bike, but I'm gonna get it, you know, tip top and all that stuff. So he agreed, and I get it here. I think he was maybe second guessing that decision. I kid you not, it made it one day here in Texas, and the engine seized up. And just to review that story for anyone who's just seeing this video, the rotary valve, which is right there, tacoed and scraped all the aluminum off the side, the case there, and shoved it into the engine. Don't ask me how. We don't know. We really don't know how that happened. I've never heard of that happening. Maybe some of you older guys that have had old school bikes with rotary valves specifically might know what would cause that. But I don't know. And this has got non-ethanol fuel in it. We make sure that we keep, you know, good gas in it. The ethanol-lated stuff is not good for these old vintage motorcycles. So anyways, so yeah, that commenced the rebuild, which I did not ever film. It took a while. I keep missing shifts and stuff, sorry. So it got rebuilt, and that engine seized too, no joke. It had some carburetor issues, and it was washing the cylinder out. It was the original carburetor, and it was just worn out. I mean, it like literally just completely worn out. The carburetor had been rebuilt several times. I even went so far as to find a vintage carb kit for it. I can't remember the name. Keister. Went to go find a Keister, vintage Keister rebuild kit. Got it, thinking, well, maybe they changed something, and there were some differences in the Keister vintage kit versus the Keister, you know, the modern Keister kit. So yeah, the engine seized. And it wasn't a real rebuild. It was I just honed out, used a ball hone and honed out the cylinder, popped a new piston in it, thinking that the cylinder was in good shape, and it wasn't exactly in great shape. Of course, I didn't have a dial indicator or anything like that to be able to, you know, check down inside the bore to verify anything. It was just purely eyeball. Not great. Don't do that unless you have to. So put it back together, and yeah, that engine seized up. So this engine. So I sent. So I contacted Chad, who had done my Buell engine, the parts for it, and asked him if he could bore out the cylinder. Actually, got another cylinder, a separate cylinder altogether, and so asked him if he could bore out the original cylinder. He said sure. Oh no, so sorry, back up. It helps if I can concentrate. There's so many dang bumps, man. See, this is the kind of crap I have to ride on. I avoid this road on the Buell completely, but the road I would rather take is closed, so gotta take this craptastic. Look at this, guys. This is what I have to deal with. You think, oh, this is just an exception to the rule. No, this is the rule. This is the kind of garbage roads that we have out here where I live, man. They're just stupid. I don't know how anyone agrees to pay for this. Anyways, that's a political thing. It just, oh my gosh. So, it's safety too. I mean, look at how I'm having to ride. Trying to deep breathe right now. All right, where was I? So, sent the new cylinder off. It got bored. Unfortunately, one of the fins broke. Don't know how that happened. The guy who did it. Sorry, back up again. Chad referred me to a guy in South Carolina who does two-strokes that he felt would be a good choice for me. So again, fast forward again to the cylinder, one of the fins breaking off. So and that was the new one that we bought. The one I had left is the original on this bike cylinder. And I told the guys, like, look, man, this is it. I can't replace this. You know, this is the original one, so please. So he ended up repairing the one that got broken. He had a guy do some cast iron welding. Yeah, this is a full cast iron sleeve, or piston, or sorry, cast iron cylinder on this bike. It's not a sleeve at all, pure cast iron, so it's pretty heavy. Had a guy cast iron weld it, did a pretty good job, and then bored out the other for the price of one. So all that work got done for the price of one cylinder getting bored out. And I'll post his link down below, so in case anyone else is interested in getting their two-stroke bike bored out, or their power sports engine bored out or machined, he'd be a good choice. And honestly, I apologize, I cannot remember his name. I just remember Chad because of how much interaction I had with him. In any case, got everything back, got it back together, and here we are. It's doing okay. The piston is an NOS Kawasaki piston and ring set, so it's all Kawasaki. The only thing that is not Kawasaki on this bike is the clutch. It is some aftermarket thing. Of course, it's nigh to impossible to find, you know, a true Kawasaki clutch, and they're probably out there. As I'm saying this, someone always says, "Hey, I found one." I'm like, well, you know how it goes. Wasn't there when I was looking, so trust me, I was looking. This clutch is okay. It's kind of, I don't know, not great, but I'm sure part of it is the fact that I'm basically the same weight as two teenage kids riding this thing by myself. So the other thing that had to happen was we found a new carburetor. When I say new, it had been pulled off a running bike with low miles, and it was just caked in crap. So my dad has an ultrasonic cleaner. He ordered it, got it sent to his house, and put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. I mean, I need one of those. those things are amazing. If you have one, you know what I mean. But if you don't, there's plenty of videos on how they work. I saw the results. The carburetor before, the carburetor after. It looked brand new, like literally like it was a brand new carburetor after my dad sent it to me. Put the carburetor on with straight up factory settings, kicked off the bike, and yeah, good to go. Bike's been great. Also replaced the fork boots that you see there, the Gators. That was fun. About dropped the bike when I did that. That was not great. My youngest daughter had to come out. I was yelling for help. No one heard me except she happened to be walking by the garage. Came running in and helped me. So that was fun. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward bike. Trying to think of anything else you guys might be curious about with it. You know, it's great for this kind of riding. If you just want to get out and about and put around, this is like, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better bike. An old school 2-stroke. It, you know, there's no power, so I'm, you know, forced to take my time and just chill and enjoy the experience. And you know, sports riding is great, but you know, this kind of riding right here. See, there's the that's the takeoff I was telling you about. Doesn't have a really good engagement. Anyways, this kind of riding right here, just chilling out, country roads. If you haven't done it, you should totally do it. It's a different kind of fun. Oh, transmission. So it's a 5-speed, all up. Neutral is all the way down. So anyone who knows vintage Kawasaki's knows that style. They were kind of, that was their thing. I don't know if any other manufacturer did that. Let me know in the comments down below if that's true. So it's pretty straight. Well, I will say this: when I did the engine, it was obvious the Kawasaki did not intend for anyone to really work on this thing. You know, it was kind of like, I would say it's probably sort of considered a throwaway bike in the 70s. And I'm glad my grandpa didn't. And I'm glad I've got it. Again, I'm not the owner. My family owns it. I'm the curator. The youngest daughter, who helped me save the day, she has asked that she be the next curator. So when the day comes that the bike needs to go away from me, then she'll be the next person who takes the reins, passing the baton to her. I don't live in this neighborhood. Just kind of getting off that main road that's higher speed. Back here I can just chill. That house burned down, by the way. Kind of sad. They just now got to, I guess the insurance that'll pay for it, they're just now tore it down. One last thing on the 90, I redid the seat, did a new seat cover on it. Found this, eBay store that does these repops of OEM seats, and man, it was like identical to the factory one. So I was like, sheesh. I think it was like 20-30 bucks. Like, it was insanely cheap. I thought, wow, that's impressive. So I ordered that right away and had to add some extra cushion material in and around the OEM cushion. The OEM cushion is pretty sorry about that. It's pretty flaky, so the cushion point, but I don't have the talent to carve a good seat cushion. I tried. It looked like the moon. It was full of craters. It looked awful. So I did what I did, and it's holding up just fine. I think that's about it, you guys. I appreciate you hanging in there with me on this one. Completely different paced video. There's another guy on YouTube who has the same bike, and he does some ride-alongs with his. He's got the right gearing, so he's going a little bit faster, speed limit wise. So I'll find one of his videos and post it for you so that you can see it and watch him riding around too. He looks like he's a bit skinnier than I am, so you know, whatever. All right, I think that's it. You guys are going to go ahead and wrap things up. If you like this video, please go ahead and like it. If not, pretend that you do. And if you would like to consider becoming a Patreon, I absolutely invite that. Definitely helps the channel, and I want to thank all my Patreons for doing that. And then if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And until next time, peace out and keep it between the ditches.